Elizondo has chimed in on the whole balloon UFO situation, whatever is being shot down over our skies and beyond our skies. Over the last few days, I personally have been really eager to see what Lou Elizondo had to say about this, and he recently spoke about it to the New York Times. So let's dig into it. This is Jack. Get in here. This is Cosmic Road. I talk about UFOs and the paranormal. Please hit like. Please subscribe and hit the bell to be notified of future videos. Please share this video on social media, and please join me on Facebook and Twitter. The links are below, and please comment on the story as I'm going through it. So, okay, here is what Lou told the New York Times. What's happening now is you have low-end technology being used to harass America. Let's just read the full statement here. Lou Elizondo, the military intelligence officer who ran the Pentagon's UFO program until 2017, concurred. But he said that the Biden administration must find a way to balance vigilance over what is going on in the skies above America against chasing our tail whenever something unknown shows up. A tough task, he says. For years, adversaries have sent low-tech gadgets into the skies above the United States, Mr. Elizondo said. What's happening now is you have low-end technology being used to harass America, he said in an interview. It's a high-impact, low-cost way for China to do this, and the more you look up in the sky, the more you will see. So according to Lou, it's China, and that makes perfect sense. That's what I had been thinking. There are some weird, features of these objects. They, like for example, the balloon was emitting a signal, and we tried to jam it, and we couldn't. So their technology in that instance was superior to ours, which is alarming. And these other objects have evinced some interesting features as well, some interesting technological features, even though they're probably all just balloons or what have you. Chris Mellon basically has said the same thing. He hasn't really said that they're aliens or anything. He thinks they have a more prosaic explanation. Chuck Schumer has also chimed in. He says 2 more flying objects shot down were likely balloons. The U.S. believes that flying objects shot down over North American airspace on Friday and Saturday were balloons, according to Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer. Mr. Schumer made his comments before the U.S. shot down another flying object on Sunday. While he didn't say specifically that the objects from Friday and Saturday were Chinese, Mr. Schumer told ABC on Sunday that Beijing was likely using a crew of balloons that had probably been all over the world. Washington has been on high alert since its military destroyed a suspected Chinese spy balloon earlier this month. Responding to queries about Mr. Schumer's remarks, a spokesperson for the U.S. Department of Defense said the 2 objects he was referring to did not closely resemble the original balloon. They were much smaller, Reuters reported. 4 objects have been shot down over North America in the past week. The latest was shot down on Sunday over Lake Huron, or Lake Huron, as I have been corrected, near the Canadian border. It was down by Air Force and National Guard pilots on Sunday, Michigan Congresswoman Alyssa Slotkin said. On Saturday, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau confirmed that a different object was shot down over the Yukon in northwest Canada. Both Canadian and U.S. aircraft were scrambled to track the object, which Mr. Trudeau said had violated Canadian airspace. It was taken out by a U.S. F-22 fighter jet. Mr. Trudeau said recovery teams were on the ground trying to find the object and that there was still much to know. Yeah, it's interesting. The original balloon, I've heard reports saying they are having trouble finding it, which is weird. So I don't know if that's true or not. We're still in the fog of war on all this. There's conflicting reports going around. The day before on Friday, the American military shot down an object the size of a small car off Alaska. Yeah, that's a really interesting feature of all of this, is that each balloon seems to have a different shape. Regular spherical balloon shape, octagon, a cylinder. Is that significant in any way? Are they trying to see which objects work best, or do specific shapes work better over different targets? Different radar systems or whatever. Yeah, it was interesting. But other people have pointed out that there have been real UFOs, that is, non-human vehicles, that were shaped like octagons. And of course, we all know cylinders are a very common real UFO shape. But again, I think that this is probably Chinese stuff. And it's been pointed out also that all of these objects were moving from west to east, going with the prevailing winds. So the jet stream, whatever you call that. So anyway, that's something to keep in mind. Mr. Schumer, who said he had been briefed by National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan, implied that suspected surveillance balloons had been in operation for years and that Congress should examine why it took so long for the U.S. to find out about them. Yeah, I think that's what Christopher Millen said, was that, we have taken off our filters now, and we're able to, our sensors, or the filters on our sensors and our programming, and now they're able to detect these objects that had probably been around for a long time. And, that is kind of alarming. So has China really been flying balloons over the U.S. for years? That's not great, guys. And if China's done it, has Russia also done it? North Korea? Anyway. So, that a lot of people are pointing out that is, one good thing about the whole U.A.P. movement in Congress and in the government, is that now we're paying more attention to the skies and more attention to these objects and taking unidentified airborne objects more seriously. So, it may have, helped in all of this. So, and it may have led to us detecting these things and detecting it more in the future. Chuck Schumer says, the bottom line is, until a few months ago, we didn't know of these balloons. Our intelligence and our military didn't know. Asked whether China would have to shut down any surveillance program using balloons, Mr. Schumer said Beijing had been humiliated. I think we've been humiliated too, allowing them to fly over the country for years, if that's what's been going on. They're not just doing the United States, he says. This is a crew of balloons. They've probably been all over the world. China has yet to respond to Mr. Schumer's comments, but has denied the first suspected surveillance balloon, which first entered U.S. airspace on the 28th of January. It was used for spying purposes, saying it was a weather device gone astray. Yeah, a weather device capable of defeating our jammers. And this is right around when they were sending lasers to map Hawaii for some unknown sinister reason. Right? Yeah. And also it makes me think of the UFO or whatever it was that Russia shot down. Just like last month. Was that also a Chinese spy balloon? It seemed to have some weird properties, and it seemed to be a truly anomalous craft. So I don't think that was a balloon, or a aerostat, a blimp. It seemed to be truly anomalous, but you do have to wonder. Let's see. Also, aren't China and Russia allies? Out of an abundance of caution and at the recommendation of their militaries, President Biden and Prime Minister Trudeau authorized it to be taken down, the one over Canada. The leaders discussed the importance of recovering the object in order to determine more details on its purpose or origin. Giving more details on the mission to take down the object, the U.S. Department of Defense confirmed 2 F-22 jets took off from a military base in Anchorage, Alaska, and the object was shot down with the Sidewinder missile. I believe that's what an AIM-9X is, but correct me if I'm wrong. Meanwhile, continuing efforts to find and recover Friday's object near the Alaskan town of Deadhorse are being hampered by poor weather. The U.S. military said in a statement that Arctic weather conditions, including wind chill, snow, and limited daylight, are a factor. Anyway, I don't need to read the rest of it, but so you get the point. They're saying it's the Chinese now, and to me that makes the most sense. You know, I could be proven wrong. I think it's the Chinese. I think that's what's going on. I think they are very aggressive with their spycraft. And they may be, particularly aggressive right now, taking the laser thing in Hawaii into account. So something may be going on, and that doesn't sound great. Honestly, it really doesn't. So I do think there's a mundane cause for what we've been seeing over the last few days. Again, I could be proven wrong. There's pilots saying that, these things were operating without a visible means of propulsion. Does a balloon have a visible means of propulsion? I mean, really? I mean, isn't that the wind, more or less? So I think that would explain that. Now, if they were performing fantastic maneuvers, and some people have said they were maneuvering away from the jets. So, you're getting these conflicting reports, so we don't really know yet. But, I think it's probably China, and Lou Elizondo thinks it's China. Chuck Schumer thinks it's China. And Chris Mellon says, now that we have opened our filters, we're seeing these things that have been around for a long time, or, for years. So I think that's probably, a case closed, mystery solved, but this is still an ongoing situation. And, I will keep my eyes on it. And if you hear anything, let me know. And if I hear anything, I'll let you know. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Please give this video a thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. Please consider subscribing to the channel. And if you do, please hit the bell to be notified of future videos. And join me on Facebook and Twitter. The links are below. Until next time, this is Jack with Cosmic Road signing out.